Imagine you were born in one of the harshest lands on the planet, where survival is a daily battle. What if, as a child, your father was murdered and your own clan abandoned you and your family, leaving you to starve in the unforgiving winter? What would you do? What if that brutal fight for life forged you into the greatest conqueror the world has ever seen? In this video, you will discover how Genghis Khan, an exiled boy from a small nomadic people, united the tribes of Mongolia and conquered an empire larger than Rome's. Stay with me to discover how he transformed a group of rival tribes into the most feared army of his time. Alright, let's begin this story. From what is known, the man the world would come to know as Genghis Khan was born around 1162 with the name Temujin. He was the son of Yesugei, the leader of a small Mongol clan. At that time, Mongolia was a lawless land, a mosaic of nomadic tribes in constant war over pastures, horses, and power. If such a small and isolated country was able to project such immense power and change the course of history, it was largely because of him. It was when Temujin was only 9 years old that his life tragically changed. His father, Yesugei, was poisoned by a rival clan, the Tatars. With their leader dead, Temujin's clan, fearing to follow a child, abandoned his family to their fate. Alone and without resources, Temujin, his mother, and his siblings had to fight to survive, hunting rats and gathering roots to keep from starving. He was a man forged in adversity. He learned that loyalty was the greatest virtue and that weakness was an invitation to death. Above all, he sought not just to survive, but to restore his family's honor. Because of this, he knew he could not do it alone. With this in mind, his decision was to form strategic alliances, even if it meant submitting to more powerful leaders, at least for a while. Then, a brutal event triggered his first actions as a leader. His wife, Borte, was kidnapped by a rival tribe, the Merkits. Driven by revenge and love, Temujin sought the help of a powerful tribal chief and friend of his father, Togrul, and also of his childhood friend and blood brother, Jamuka. Together, they raised an army, attacked the Merkits, and rescued Borte. And it was these actions that made him a respected figure. His courage and determination attracted followers. After this victory, his small band of warriors was more confident, and more importantly, others began to see a true leader in him. He continued to battle and unite more clans under his banner. He broke with tribal tradition by promoting his generals based on merit and loyalty, not on family lineage. His forces, increasingly organized and loyal to him, became a threat to the other great leaders of Mongolia. And it is here that one of his allies becomes his greatest enemy, Jamuka. He was Temujin's childhood friend, a powerful and charismatic leader in his own right. They grew up together, but they had completely different worldviews. Jamuka believed in the old Mongol aristocracy, where power should belong only to noble families. Temujin, on the other hand, believed in a meritocracy, where any skilled man could rise. This fundamental difference set them on a collision course. Their childhood friendship turned into a bloody rivalry for total control of Mongolia. They faced each other in a decisive battle. Temujin, with his more disciplined and loyal army, was victorious. Jamuka was betrayed by his own men and handed over to Temujin, who granted him an honorable, bloodless death. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this encounter. A childhood friendship that became a war for the future of a nation. After defeating all his rivals in 1206, Temujin convened a great assembly of all the tribal chiefs, a kurultai. There, he was proclaimed the ruler of all Mongols and given the title of Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. With the tribes finally unified, he turned his ambition to the outside world, beginning a series of military campaigns that would take his armies from the Great Wall of China to the plains of Europe. And so the abandoned boy became a legend, the founder of the largest contiguous land empire the world has ever seen. He was not just a conqueror, but an administrator who established a code of laws, a postal system, and open trade routes. But his genius was not only on the battlefield. To govern his new nation, he implemented the Yasa, a code of laws that unified the tribes under a single standard of conduct, harshly punishing theft, adultery, and betrayal. He reorganized his army into decimal units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000 men, breaking old tribal loyalties and forging a single disciplined war machine loyal only to him. His first major campaign was south against the Tangut Empire of Xixia, and then against the powerful Jin dynasty in northern China. There, the Mongols, warriors of the steppe, faced a challenge they didn't know: fortified cities. Genghis Khan adapted brilliantly. He would capture enemy engineers and force them to build siege engines like catapults and battering rams, using his enemies' knowledge against them and leaving a trail of conquered cities. Then, an event in the west changed the course of his conquest. When a caravan of Mongol merchants and diplomats was executed by the Shah of the Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia, Genghis Khan saw it as an unforgivable insult. This act of defiance unleashed a storm of vengeance. He postponed the final conquest of China and marched west with a massive army. The ensuing campaign was one of the most devastating in history. Legendary Silk Road cities like Samarkand and Bukhara that refused to surrender were utterly razed. Brutality was a weapon. The news of one city's destruction would cause the next to surrender without a fight. In just a few years, his empire stretched from the shores of the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. But conquest was only the first step. Genghis Khan understood that force alone could not hold an empire together. He began to connect his vast domain. Under his protection, the once perilous Silk Road flourished like never before, allowing merchants and ideas to travel safely from end to end. This duality of being both a destroyer of worlds and a builder of a new one was the true foundation of his legacy. His war came to an end with his death in 1227, but the empire he built would continue to shape history for generations. And so that the warriors of the past can continue to guide you with their incredible stories. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time.